a time or space that one should be in where they aren't pursuing the truth. Because if you aren't pursuing the truth at one point or at one space or at any time, then you could possibly be living in lie. Then you can possibly be mentally misaligned. You can possibly be physically misaligned, emotionally and spiritually misaligned. You could be mentally in a delusion. You could be mentally in an illusion, or physically delusional, or emotionally delusional, or in an emotional illusion. Or you could be spiritually delusional and or spiritually experiencing a experience of being under an illusion. And what are those illusions and delusional spaces that one can be in? They're exactly what they sound like. They're opposite of the truth. They're opposite of the path of truth. They're opposite of the pursuit of truth. And mentally, this can come into play when you are not necessarily being in your power when it comes to mentally. If you are being weak as far as it comes to mentally, then you could be in a space of mental illusion or mental delusion, because you're not perceiving the reality that is actually there. You're perceiving a so-called perceived or delusionally or illusionally perceived reality when it comes to mentally. Therefore, this can have you on a path of pursuing false things when it comes to mentally. This could have you experiencing not truth when it comes to your thoughts that you experience. This could come to experiencing false truths when it comes to mentally. This could come into play when you are experiencing illogical mental thoughts, illogical mental forms that are occurring in your mental state of being. And the way that you are going to correct this and get back to a pursuit of truth when it comes to mentally is by denying anything other than what is true. Deny anything that is delusional, deny anything that is false, and embrace what is true and what you can stick by and what you can stand on. The falsities when it comes to mentally that you come across, or the things that are possibly distracting you or leading you astray on your pursuit of truth, are going to be less real. They're going to be not as appearing as truth, because they're not real, because they can't stand the test of time, because they're not actually the reality. They're not actually truth. And the truth is what will stand the test of time, because everything that is false, everything that is untrue will wither away, because it has no reason to become something that is accepted as far as the truth, something that is in reality as strong as the truth. The only thing that these false ideas, these false concepts, these false mental paths of thinking, these false mental forms, the only purpose they serve is that of keeping those who are on a path of unrighteousness, those who are on a path of not pursuing the truth, to entertain these people and to, like I said, have one on a path that is astrayed from the truth, have one on a path that is mentally lost, that is mentally stuck, that is mentally stagnant, that is mentally not focused on doing what you need to do as far as it comes to mentally perceiving your reality in a perspective, in a lens that is truthful, mentally perceiving your actions as those that are right in the pursuit of truth, mentally perceiving your emotions and or reactions to things as the correct ones in pursuit of truth, mentally perceiving your spiritual natures, your spiritual systems, your spiritual actions, your spiritual purpose, your spiritual path, your spiritual meanings as correct and right for one's pursuit of truth. You have to value the pursuit of truth mentally in order to keep continuing uncovering truth, keep continuing even dealing in truth. When you stop to pay attention, you stop to give any power to any falsehoods, any things that are untrue, that are the opposite of truth, things that are false, lie, you will be focused on truth. And more, you will have truth in your reality. Therefore, you can move away from a space of experiencing those things when it comes to mentally, experiencing the false lies or experiencing delusional things when it comes to mentally. You will be on a path of pursuing truth as long as you stick to what you know is true, and not only stick to what you know is true, but that's based on facts, and that's based on what is in reality, not just what you think is what you know, and what you know is what you think. Continue on to pursue that truth. Don't just rest on thinking that you know, I know the truth. I'm already pursuing truth, and I don't have to go any further than that. I know what the truth is per se. That's not necessarily the case. One should always be in pursuit of truth. If you want to live by the truth, if you want to live in the truth, then one should continuously be in the pursuit of truth. And this can, like I said, embracing the truth, nothing other than the truth, and being aware of what is false. What are these false thoughts that other people have? What are these false thoughts that may come across in my mental state of being? What are these false concepts, false ideas that are in this existence that we have? Therefore, you can debunk them. Therefore, you can dissolve them as they fall away because they can't stay in reality. So other than that, being in the pursuit of truth when it comes to mentally is going to benefit your mental state of being, because you're going to have a stronger mind. You're going to have a mind that perceives truth. You're going to have a mind that doesn't have any expectancy, leniency, or any tolerance for lies, any tolerance for things that are false, for things that aren't pushing you towards the pursuit of truth. Therefore, you can be able to mentally grow, mentally expand, mentally keep creating more mental thought forms, more ideas from the reality that we're in, as far as you being focused on pursuing truth. When it comes to physically being on the pursuit of truth, the physical pursuit of truth is physically pursuing not only the truth of your reality, not only the truth that you live in, but one's own truth. So, physically doing the actions that you know are true in regards to what your goals are when it comes to physically. Doing the actions that you know are in the pursuit of truth as far as benefiting one's own physical state of well-being. Doing the actions and pursuing truth when it comes to physically means taking care of oneself when it comes to physically. Taking care of not only oneself, but one's surroundings, taking care of one's responsibilities when it comes to what benefits that one's physical state of well-being. If that is the individual's or being's goal, what are your goals when it comes to physically? And if your goals are based upon doing things as far as benefiting your state of well-being physically, then pursuing your actions and pursuing truth through your physical actions is how you can uphold that. Doing the right things as far as pursuing truth when it comes to physically means straying away from all actions that are delusionally perceived to help you. Straying away from all actions that are maybe a society norm, or that are socially accepted, or that are commonly practiced by others, just because of that, for the sole fact of that. Rather, do things that you know physically are in the pursuit of truth. Physically doing things that are right to benefit one's own physical vessel. Physically doing things to benefit one's own responsibilities, those around oneself. Physically putting in the work in order to become a better version of yourself, rather than living in lie, rather than doing actions and being involved in circumstances and situations and physical energies that are hurting or hindering things, and having one under a, let's say, an energy or a experience of lie, or an experience of falsehoods when it comes to physically. You know, you could be doing something physically that you perceive it to be, oh, this helps me to feel good when it comes to physically, or this helps me to get a certain feeling out of it, like drinking, smoking, anything that you may do when it comes to something that allegedly makes you feel good physically. You gotta pierce through that illusion, pierce through that veil, pierce through that cloth covering the truth, pierce through that cloth that covers reality, and perceive the truth out of it. Perceive the truth from it, and there, now that you're perceiving the truth, you now gain that truth. So now that you know better, you know to live by the truth when it comes to physically, now you will do better. You will do better when it comes to physically abiding by the truth, abiding by the actions that you have to have when it comes to physically in order to pursue truth. The pursuit of truth when it comes to physically is accepting reality for what it is. You know, I just did a video on facing reality, and in that video I said, in order to do this, you will be a straight God. And what I mean is not necessarily that you are a God, because we know that we can only have part of what God is aware of, or not all omnipresence, but we can have that own piece of that. That is what I meant. Being God, being a God in the way of facing reality as he would, in reference of, you could just think of it as an example of, okay, we are made in the image of him. I know that is a religious saying, but if he, or if the Creator so-called made us in his image, then why not live by the truth, live by the pursuit of truth when it comes to that. And so check out that video. I just wanted to clear that up really quickly. And if you are watching right now, if you don't mind, click the like button. That would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you are a returning viewer, do what you can. And I don't see why not, because I am a prophet of the truth. I am a prophet of what is real. Therefore, if you don't mind, show some support. Other than that, when it comes to physically like I said, putting in the actions that you need in order to like I said, so physically being on that pursuit of truth has to do as well with facing the reality. Whatever reality that you have to come across, whatever reality that you have to deal with when it comes to physically. Embracing that truth and being able to do what you need to do, know that you have to do things that are going to be difficult, but that's the truth of the matter. That's your pursuit of truth, is doing the things that are hard, doing the things that at the end of the day, they're going to benefit you, even though it's going to cause you to go through some, let's say, minor physical uncomfort, minor physical pain, for the growth of the physical, for the growth of the mental, for the growth of the emotional, for the growth of the spiritual states of being. You will have to do things in order to stay on that path of pursuing truth when it comes to physically. For example, we get so used to having a car for transportation that we almost take it for granted that we can presumably teleport places. Well, not really, but you guys get what I mean. You get to a place like that when you have a car. I'm walking miles away from the gym from working out this morning, realizing that not only do I not have water, but I'm gonna make it because I've lived in the desert my whole life, and by the way, nothing that comes across me will prosper. No weapon formed against me shall prosper, whatever that may be, physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And that's just it is what it is. I had to expect that I'm gonna have to do a lot of walking right now. I'm gonna have to do some biking. I'm gonna have to amp things up when it comes to that. And when the time is right, and when that's now a part of my reality, then maybe I can have a vehicle again. I can experience the luxuries of the current times that we're in, where cars are something that is readily used. Cars are something that is commonly used as opposed to get from place to place. But I'm seeing the reality of it. I'm seeing the truth out of that situation, being that I'm healthier for this. I'm not going to sit here and complain and say, oh, this is difficult. Oh, my mouth is dry. Oh, I'm out of breath. Oh, I could easily just walk home and be listening to music, watching a video on YouTube, something that is entertaining rather than something that I can learn from. Which, that's not a bad thing, to watch a video or listen to music, as long as you're using it in order to benefit your pursuit of truth, your pursuit of growth, your pursuit of expansion in the life that you're in. So, like I said, that's a part of my truth. That's a part of my pursuit of truth, is having to embrace the things that I have to do when it comes to physically. Even if that's a difficult thing to do, I'm going to have to end up doing it. I'm going to have to keep pushing forward. In order to pursue the truth, there's things that you have to get through. Those are what you could call thoughts, or let's say physical things getting in the way, like the fact that I'm thirsty, the fact that I have to relieve myself, the fact that I don't have water, the fact that I'm out of breath when I'm trying to record a video, it's hot. Those are physical things that could be stopping me in my pursuit of truth. But I'm realizing that those physical barriers, those physical challenges, those physical obstacles are falsely being perceived to be there to stop me. They're falsely being illusionally there to possibly get in my way, to possibly hinder my pursuit of truth. Therefore, I'm not going to let that get in my way. I'm not going to let anything get in my way, and I'm going to keep pushing the note forward, pushing the needle forward, therefore uncovering truth, uncovering more, let's say, physical expansion, physical endurance, physical perseverance through whatever it is that I have to deal with. when it comes to pursuing the truth as far as emotionally, well, emotionally, you got to use your intuition. You should not be in a delusion or illusion when it comes to how you feel or how you react to the world, because I could sit here and I could say, oh, I feel like this isn't something I should do, or I feel like just cutting off the video right now because, oh, I feel tired, oh, I feel fatigued, oh, I feel exhausted. But rather, what am I doing? I'm going based upon using my emotional intuition, knowing that I'm growing through this. I'm emotionally becoming stronger. I'm emotionally pursuing the truth of, okay, if you feel this certain way, that's lies. That's falsely there to be perceived, Morgan. That is something that is not actually the reality of the situation. That is something that is not actually the truth of the situation. And that's just a way that you feel. And you can get through that. That's not going to be a big deal at the end of the day. You're going to be able to get through it. And therefore, by going around the so-called, illusionally or delusionally perceived emotions that are, that could possibly be stopping me on my path, I'm not even going to let that affect me. I'm not even going to let the way that people around me are perceiving me and the emotions that they may project on me, because I simply don't care. I simply am stronger than that, and I'm simply creating the life and the existence and the pursuit of truth that I need to be on. And I'm pushing that forward no matter what, and I'm going to continuously do that.